So as I was saying, we brew all the beer, and then we distill the beer that we make. So this copper pipe, it traveled all the way from the brewery into here, and that's how we transfer the wash into here. So what we're making in here right now, we will be making whiskey next week, actually, for the first time. But right now we're making traditional German-style beer schnapps. So that's a clear, clear spirit, and we're making four different varietals actually. So Frambozen, which is like a raspberry. It's really nice. Yeah, it's the closest thing I can kind of compare it to is vodka, except it's more flavored vodka, but it's far more flavorful. Vodka doesn't have the grain, since I was explaining that malt thing. So when we brew beer with malts, and then when we distill beer, you get all of that malt characteristic coming over. So you get like a really nice kind of textural graininess. Vodka lacks that. It's kind of one-dimensional. So this has a lot of other things going on. So we have a raspberry one, we have a coffee porter one, and we have a tank house one. So the tank house one's very hoppy, except not bitter, because they have the aroma of the hops. So what happens in here is that the wash will come over, we'll put it into the beer still first, and then so we brew them high gravity, so higher alcohol than usual. So we brew beer about 7.5% alcohol. Put it into the beer still. There's kind of a hot water bath underneath that and an agitator inside. So that hot water bath will warm up the entire batch of beer. The agitator will allow for consistency of heat distribution, and then the ethanol will boil, return to a gaseous form before the water does. So the ethanol will vaporize, and then will rise as a vapor, leaving the water behind, and it will go up into that helmet, that big kind of up top, that cylinder, and then travel along that pipe, and then that kind of column that comes out is the condenser. There's cold water running around the outside of that condenser, and that will cause the ethanol that's in a gaseous form to recondense. So turn it into water, or liquid ethanol again. And then that liquid ethanol travels along this pipe here that crosses, and then goes into the copper still there. So that's the second distillation process. So we call that the spirit still. Once we've distilled the schnapps, or the whiskey, if it comes in about 7.5% alcohol, at that point it's about 25% alcohol by volume. And then we'll add more, whatever the botanical is. So the raspberries we'll add directly into that still. We'll add more coffee for the coffee porter. We'll add more hops.
Is it actually like you're throwing in like the raspberries?
Yeah, big time. Nothing smells better than that. Like you probably can tell by the acoustics of this room. This is an explosion-proof room. This is the only still inside of a restaurant in Canada. By the time of the end of distillation, we're dealing with alcohol at 85% alcohol by volume. So if you lit a match in here, it would be bad news. So like nothing in here, like there's no computers, like when we're distilling. There's no computers, no lighters, no cell phones, nothing that causes spark.
And so like the exit sign, or is that just like a sign?
Oh, that's just a sign, yeah, that's not being lit up. And all of these lights are all explosion-proof lights, everything in here, like at 100%. Yeah, it's to a bajillion codes. It will never blow up. I mean, there's so many sensors. There's so much, sensors here that'll set off alarms that will, suction up the whole room and stuff. You don't have to worry about it, but you do have to worry about it. Yeah. It's not like we're not yahoos, right? This is really serious stuff. And the LCBO is really, and the AGCO is really, really, as they should be, super strict on this kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, we'll add more fruit into there, and then so when it's in there, it's at 25% alcohol by volume, and it's heating up. This is like an unworkable space. You pretty much come in, take a sample, turn a couple valves, and leave. It's a bajillion degrees in here during that period of time. And nothing smells better, as I say, than that raspberry distillation, because it's that hot, it's that alcoholic, and it's just like the purest expression of raspberries you could ever imagine. Like it's like the most hyper ripe raspberries, but like not spoiled, but like so ripe on like the hottest summer day, and you're swimming in the pool. Like it's my favorite smell ever of all time.
I'm really intrigued about it. I don't know why.
That smells great.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then so still again, so the exact same process happens in the copper still, and then the ethanol rises, passes through the rectifying column, and then ends up here. So we take a sample at 85% alcohol by volume. And then we'll add water. Bring it back into the blending tank. Add water to it to bring it down to 45%. And serve you anything at 85%. If you guys are spirit drinkers at all, some people will add a bit of water to their whiskey to open up the spirit. So in the same sense. So we're slowly back adding water to that to figure out the point where it expresses the botanicals, so the fruit or the coffee or the hops, and also the grain and kind of that perfect balance. And then we added a touch of sugar to it. It's not like peach schnapps. It's not like North American style of schnapps. It's very German, Eastern European style. It's dry. We just add a bit of sugar to kind of balance out the alcohol. And then we serve it in really cold, frosted ice glasses. It comes right out of the freezer, and it's meant to be shot, and usually shot beside a beer that it's distilled from. So you have like the frambozen, like the raspberry beer, and then the raspberry schnapps. And then you're like, whoa, I can see exactly where this came from. Yeah, it's pretty rad. That's what we do in the space. Lay it on me.
Okay. That was really, really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna think you're ask me questions too.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Okay. So, do you guys want to work on some? Okay, we'll work on students.
I like that bag. It looks incredibly heavy, but I really like it. Your bag.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like full of nothing.
It's heavy with air.
Yeah. It's like my school bag, but I had to bring some stuff. Okay, so what is the physical size of the brewery?
I don't know.
Can you be a ballpark or like just?
In meters or feet? Okay.
It's pretty good. You can make it up if you wanted to. We'll probably end up making it up.
15 meters? Yeah, but 15 by 15? Really bad. That's not the person to ask that kind of thing too.
That's not
2 feet. I always lose at the guess of jelly beans from Jarvis.
Oh, yeah.
Good with that.
I'm not good at it either. So, how is this divided between office and plant?
So we don't have an office here at all. There's a filing cabinet in the other room, and that is our office. There's even like the computer room we usually type standing up in the filing cabinet. All production space, maximize production
Just
space.
where it's done for the party.
No.
Okay. How many employees do you have here? 2, right?
Yeah, so within both, because there's one person that works here and then 2 of us that work there, so 3 employees in production.
Yeah. So what is the name and title of the person who conducted the tour?
Yes, my name is Bridget Young, and I am a brewer.
Awesome. Please try to retain the tour guide's business card and scan this right into your presentation.
I can do that.
Okay, awesome. So I was reading word off this. Next question. What products or services does the company provide? We know this already. Provide graphic images, we have that. Who are your clients and customers?
Oh, so our brew pub, obviously, our on-site retail store, our on-site bar, and then licensees, so beers, bars and restaurants across Canada, and liquor stores and beer stores across Canada.
Do they sell only in Canada or do they export anywhere?
Mostly only in Canada. We do export a little bit. It's like tiny. It's very tiny. A couple expats in the States and then a couple expats in Asia.
Next question.
Like these guys are like, yeah, like they're just like, we love your coffee porter. Apparently, like our coffee porter is for sale at like a coffee shop in Hong Kong, like a single one. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And it's tiny. Like it's like, you know, they probably go through a pallet a year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, next. What type of manufacturing process is used? So batch, right?
Batch, yeah.
Yeah. Next. If your tour is of a service facility, what type of scheduling techniques are used to ensure timely and profitable delivery of services to their clients?
So there's someone's position in head office who does sales projections. So he's always looking at sales like what we made last year, what our annual growth is, and that's done brand by brand because we make, as I was saying, about 30 different brands here in a year. So some of those things we make once, right? Like we make a Scotch ale for Robbie Burnstick, and we make 2,000 liters of it, and when it's done, it's done. Other stuff, we make 5 core brands here that we make 12 months a year. And those core brands are Hellesbach, Pilsner, Frambozen, IPA, ESB, and Latin. Actually, there's 3 new ones. Distillery Ale, Minimus Double, and Amplifice. So those beers are made on site 12 months a year, and some of them are like really popular during different times of the year, right? So like Amplifice is very popular during the summer months. So we look at what we made last summer, how much we've grown, how much we're going to need. So how do we need to batch those things, and then also keep in mind that we have all these other products to make. So making sure that we don't run out of the core brands just by projections, sales projections. Sometimes we run out. That's kind of where being a craft brewery, explaining that to our customers, like, you know, it's not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
Bars are different, yeah. Like the brew pub here, they're just like, they can just tell us down and be like, oh, they brewed this instead of this. Sorry, you tried this. But it's difficult for some restaurants who just like bars who carry their Hellesbach all the time. Like, what do you mean? You don't have it? You know, so we usually make the biggest.
That's
We try to keep on top of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Tour plant layout for the facility. Do you have a plant layout anywhere?
No.
That's probably not good.
Yeah, I can like sketch it for you if you want, but.
Okay, that might be cool. Yeah, that's fine. Inventory control. Describe the inventory control system in use and why is the company selected the system that you use? So why do you use it?
We just count. It's so
Just
terrible.
count it. Yeah.
It's not even computerized.
That's not normal.
Yeah, there's a keg fridge in Scarborough, and someone goes in and counts it every 2 days.
That's perfect. Is this, do you have like future plans or do you plan on
I
sticking
really
with
hope
this?
so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just say that we'll probably have plans.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting to the point where it's big.
You're gonna need to, yeah. Quality control. What procedures do you use for quality control?
So we have a QC lab in Scarborough where we send samples of every single beer that we make in 4 different stages of production. So very beginning, a little bit in, and very end. And so they are always testing for consistency in those, and then also just really rigid SOPs for all of our sanitizing and cleaning all of our equipment. Since there's only 2 of us, it's not really a huge concern because like nothing really ever gets forgotten about. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, did you wash that tank? No, I washed that tank.
Yeah.
So just good communication, following SOPs, and QC lab.
Is SPC, which is statistical process control, used?
What does that mean? Statistical process control.
Sweet. I don't know what it is.
Statistical process control.
Like,
I don't know what it is.
Do you know what that is?
like,
Would that be like projections? Like sales
That's what I was
yeah,
just
like
thinking.
statistically seeing if you like improved or like.
Oh, we definitely don't do that. Maybe. We don't do it here.
Maybe with those projections though that you're talking
Maybe
about.
sales
right?
projections?
Yeah. Do you know if the firm is ISO 9000 or otherwise certified? No. It's certified though, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'd have to be. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. Next question, plant maintenance policy. Does the firm have a proactive maintenance policy of periodic checking, lubricating, adjusting, or do they simply fix it when it breaks?
Fix it when it breaks.
No problem.
There's a couple things, like we will, there's a couple things like we lubricate our mill and our augers and stuff, but for the most part, and like forklift inspection comes in like once a year, but for the most part it's fixed.
Yeah.
And we're pretty handy.
Yeah.
We have
It
in-house people that work in Scarborough that would come down and give us a hand, but for the most part,
You just handle it yourself.
we handle it ourselves.
Yeah, it says most places use a combination of 2 anyways. Last question. What is being done by this company to make sure the plant or service delivery equipment people friendly? Do 2 words.
I think they mean people friendly for.
What is being done by this company to make the plant or service delivery equipment people friendly?
Like kind of like this room.
I guess
like
just
how
have
it's
it like
people
so safe,
coming
right?
to come in.
Oh,
There's like windows you can see through.
sure, yeah. I thought it was more kind of like, yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just that it's kind of like open for everyone.
It's
to
totally
view.
open. And like when we're brewing, people come in all the time. They're like,
Yeah, that's
what are you making in here? What's that smell? What's that thing? What are those things?
Yeah, the
That's
fact that you guys
all.
all like can answer that, it's like it's pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Okay. What safety measures such as eye wash stations do you see within the company's facilities?
Yeah, in there's an eye wash station. There's 2 in here. There's one there. There's one over there. And then there's a big first aid kit on the wall over there. And in our place, we have a big first eye wash kit and a first aid kit.
Okay, so the last thing is like, what do you learn about the sales inspector, which I'm sure we just answered that. Okay, and that was all.
That's it? Everyone?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're all doing it.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do a sketch?
Yeah, that's cool.
I can probably do it.